सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। हरिः ओं श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं। हरि ओं. So about the bhakti marga, right? How bhakti is so essential that even if we are, this is the one for me, right? So there is of course the bahiranga sadhana where one can take to any of the secondary means. It is said to be secondary means because it is that which will pull me to the primary, right? The primary being antaranga sadhana, which is shravana manana nididhyasana. So the external means or the secondary means that we say, those are bhakti, karma, ashtanga, japa, tapa, tirtha, right? All these, though we are calling them secondary, always know that they are those steps which are always going to move us to that highway, that one highway which is going to lead to our destination. So it is not that I have gone astray somewhere. No, these are going to be the means to take me onto the right path of jnana, right? So therefore these are as essential as that of the jnana marga, right? And these are that which will keep me on that jnana marga. But then again, which is the one for me? What is that which is essential in this, right? So when we question in that way, because many come up and they say that japa is fine, but japa, will it lead me to meditation? Or japa, isn't it just in terms of keeping my mind focused? So how is it going to bring me or keep me on that essential knowledge or abidance in the knowledge? How is it going to do that? So in terms of this, our Gurudev had given 3 cornerstones of sadhana that we can practice, and these are at 3 levels, right? These are also the cornerstones of this Hinduism itself, this culture that we are following. This is what we call as religion, or we call as way of life, right? So this in essence is covered through these 3 principles. What are these 3 principles? That is brahmacharya, ahimsa and satyam. So at the body level it is brahmacharya, at the mind level or at the mental energy level it is the ahimsa, and at the intellect level, where the decision making is happening, where the conviction lies, where the knowledge or understanding or the wisdom arises, there the satyam aspect comes in, right? So these are the 3 essentials which have been laid down by the rishis of the yore, right? And in many ways, even in whatever discourses, Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji, he would also talk of these, right? So when we are saying brahmacharya, how are we going to go about this brahmacharya? Is it only celibacy? When we say, again here we are saying at the body level, or we are saying at the physical level, that is where this brahmacharya comes in. But is it only that? And how do I go about it? Or how important is it, right? So here one very sweet anecdote of Gurudev comes in, where he was saying that he was with a group of chicks, right? And he was having this contact diary with him, but somehow the person who was handling it had misplaced it, and then everyone was like, oh, what is going to happen? Gurudev used to write hundreds of letters in a day. Minimum 75 letters he would write in a day, every day. That was one of the sadhanas for him also, to answer the queries and the dilemmas of all his sadhakas, right? All the sadhakas everywhere across the globe. So here now, without the contact diary, what is going to happen? So in that way, Gurudev, completely nonplussed, told the person to sit down, and he started dictating to him, contact after contact, the address down to the pin code itself, right? So he was able to do this, and this chick who was bystanding and watching it, he was totally amazed at this. And then at another occasion, the same chick who was at that time, when our Parindra Kadakia ji, at that time, he saw that at another occasion, one person whom Gurudev had but seen only one time. He had met him only one time, and he met Gurudev after a few years. And Gurudev was just like that, able to recall his name, and asked him, started the conversation where he had left off at the last instance when they had met. So again, this chick at that time, Parindraji, he was amazed, and he asked Gurudev, what is the secret, to achieve this kind of memory that you are having? So then Gurudev just in one word told him, it is Brahmacharya, right? So it is Brahmacharya. So what is Brahmacharya? Brahmacharya is not just celibacy, but Brahmani charati iti Brahmacharya, right? Who is a Brahmachari? One who is ever reveling in Brahman, right? So this is definitely one essential practice that each of us can adhere to. When I am just by myself, what are the thoughts that I am entertaining? Is my mind always going externally? Because that is what is the preoccupation of the mind. The senses as such, they do run outside. They do run amok. Be it the new things or objects or things or space or places that one sees, or some information that one comes across, the mind is always going outward. But what am I doing to curb the mind in that way? So when we say, at the physical level, it does not mean only the body and the senses, but also that mind which is regulating those, right? As is given in the example of the chariot, you have the 5 horses, the 5 senses. The 5 senses are ever moving or trying to go out to their field of preoccupation, right? And who is holding them in control? It is the mind, right? So if this mind is not in control, then the sense objects or the vishayas, they are going to take control of this jiva, right? This jiva who is now having gained, this mumukshutva or a taste of that mumukshutva, is wanting to go towards that Brahman, that self, that essential nature of my own, which is centered in itself. So it doesn't have any other, Brahman doesn't need, or Atman doesn't need to have any kind of control, because it just is. There is no changes in it. But who needs to have that control? It is the jiva. It is this jiva who is bound by the body, mind, in terms of this world, in this jagata, right? So this indriya nigraha that we are speaking of, or what we say as sense management, in whose hand is it? It is in our own hands. And how do we go about it? Simple is that now that we have done Shravana, now that we have done Manana, then to keep ourselves in that knowledge, what is essential? That we keep bringing that mind, bringing that control over the senses through self-discipline, or discipline on the mind and the senses. When to go where. It also does not mean ki, I take to complete sannyas, go and sit in a solitary place at all times, and I keep myself away from all these objects. No. Is that going to work? That is not going to work, because the mind will fight and try to go out to those objects, right? Because now, even if you are sitting on top of a peak, you might catch hold of your phone and order a pizza, right? So that could happen also. So what is important is that we sublimate that energy, sublimate that urge to go outward, right? And that is what is brahmacharya. It is not that, I abstain from everything. No. What I have to do is, one, bring in the discipline slowly and gradually through moderation, right? And two, then see what is essential, what do I need, is it a comfort or is it a need? If it is a comfort, right, or if it is a want, if it is a desire which will give rise to more desires, then what do? I bring it in control and say that this is not required, this is not essential, and stick to the essential alone, right? So, as Gurudev said, be careful. By self-policing, detect the wrong tendencies in yourself, eliminate them through constant and willful effort, develop positivity, and thus come to be the god of your own future life. So this is very, very, very well defined by Gurudev, that this is how we go about bringing that discipline into our lives. So what is the result of this? What happens through brahmacharya? So be it an athlete who is practicing, say, to win that gold medal, for him too that discipline comes in, right? Be it waking early, be it sticking to the regular diet, be it sleeping on time, be it the right amount of study, right? So all these kind of disciplines are in terms of sense management itself. So when I don't do that which is going to take me outward, right, that which is all the time pulling me outward, multiplying my desires, then what do? I am conserving my own vitality, right? Then so too, having conserved that energy, I can channelize it into the right kind of effort to go towards that essential goal that I am moving towards, right? Then my goal doesn't become something distant from me. Then with each practice that I do, each abhyasa that I do, it comes closer and closer to me, right? So here moderation should not become an excuse for me to indulge. That is also important. That you say that, okay, no, I eat moderately, I do this, I don't really go fully out and enjoy everything. No, that is also not it. With the excuse of moderation, I need not always, indulge myself. But when the right point has come to me and I am able to say no, right? If it is with, if that particular enjoyment is available to me, and yet I am able to say no, it's okay, I don't require it right now, then that is the discipline that one is adhering to. So too, if something is not available, it doesn't throw me into agitation, right? I am able to do without it also, right? So, thankfully for us, we are at a time when, at the click of a button, we are getting whatever we need, right? Be it comfort at home or during our travel even, right? But there were times when, these kind of comforts, even travel itself was arduous, right? Like Adi Shankaracharya ji, at the age of 8, he moved out of his home to find his guru, right? He didn't even know the exact address. There was no navigation tool even, right? But he was able to walk and go towards that place, from the southern tip of India to Madhya Bhaga at Omkareshwar. There he could travel for this knowledge. He was not satisfied that, he had mastered the Vedas at age 8. No, he wanted that higher knowledge, and he said that is essential for me. Not any comfort of being at home, of, even cajoling my mother, saying that, no, Amma, yeah, I am your only child, so I will be here safe with you. No, he went out because his primary aim was to gain the knowledge. So to Gurudev, at when it came to knowing that higher truth, when Shivananji Maharaj told him that he has to go and stay up in the Himalayas with at Uttarkashi with Taponji Maharaj, he was able to make that journey thrice over and live that arduous life also, where there was no bed, there was no food even proper, right? But what was the calling? The calling was always to attain that higher knowledge, and therefore he could make it. So when we have that kind of faith, Shraddha, to go towards that goal, then all these practices, they become simple. They don't become arduous, right? So too, for us, we have to point out what is it that is keeping us from doing our sadhana, and in that way practice this brahmacharya. Saying no to that which is going to take me away from my knowledge or indulge me in many more desires. That is what I have to curb. It is not just about fasting, etc. It is more about where is my mind straying away and how do I rope it in. That is the essential sadhana in terms of brahmacharya that we have to adhere to, right? So the next one is ahimsa, non-injury, right? Which is said to be non-violence, right? Especially in our country, all over the world, people know India for this ahimsa, right? Which was much more made popular by even our Mahatma Gandhi ji, right? But when we say non-violence, what exactly is being conveyed here? Is it only at the action level, right? Or what exactly is it? Does it mean that if I am a doctor, I should not use a knife, or if I am a soldier, I should not use the gun? No, that is not what this non-injury is. This ahimsa is at the level of my intention itself, the motive behind my action. And what does it exhibit? It essentially exhibits my relationship with others, right? So when it comes to a sadhaka, what is the relationship that he or she retains with the world? It is that of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that of this oneness, right? That oneness which is me, that oneness which is essentially residing in this jiva, and so too in all other jivas, be it, whichever being that is there in this world, right, that is part of this creation, it is me alone. So this essential knowledge should percolate into not just my actions but also into my thought. Through my thoughts alone it will go out in the world in terms of my actions, right? So this motive or this intent, how do I practice it? So when, as part of my duty, if I am a surgeon, yes, then using that knife is essential. It is part of my dharma. So I should not really go away from it saying that this is going to cause an injury. No, because that intent when I am using that knife is in terms of healing that person, not in terms of causing any kind of injury, right? So too, as a soldier, when I hold the gun, then that gun is in defense of my country. That gun is in place for me to use when someone is attacking my country or putting it in danger, right? So there, what is again essentially that attitude to be retained is that of my dharma towards my calling or towards that higher calling also, right? So too, when I look at all people around me, what should then be my thinking or my thought? So in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that who is a bhakta? The one who is a maitra, who has a karuna, right? So that is an essential part of the bhakta, of being a bhakta, because he sees that oneness of the Lord or that instilling of the spirit of that oneness in seeing that essential power of the Lord in everyone, in all beings. So if I am causing an injury to some other being, right, that other is not other, but that other is as same as this body itself. So should I inflict that pain on another? No. So at thought level itself, be it causing hurt through my words, that is through speech, be it causing harm bodily, right? All of these have to be abstained from. Abstain from in the sense, at the thought level itself, I should be saying that this is incorrect. I should not be hurting that person. So what should I do then? Then when even if there is some amount of pain that has to be caused by the words, then it has to be done gently, right? Because the intent is not to hurt the person, the intent is more for the good of that person, right? So therefore, I should be clear in terms of what are my motives. Because why is it only for the other person? No, it is for me myself also, right? As this jiva who is interdependent, who is living in this world, if I am causing harm to anyone, any being, that agitation is going to stay with me. That agitation at my mind level is going to keep me from being my essential self, right? Because when am I peaceful? I am peaceful, or I am at my own reality when there is no agitation at my mind level. So if I am causing an injury, I am causing hurt, then who am I hurting? I am hurting myself alone. So this thought should be brought into practice, right? So mainly it is not that I am going to take a knife or a danda and beat people up. So I am not doing that kind of thing in my life. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om. Thank you.